So I get asked a lot about what exactly is Uddiyana Bandha. It gets a bit confusing because there's Uddiyana Bandha Kriya. People use the word Uddiyana, then you're told do Uddiyana Bandha. They read a text, it says apply Uddiyana Bandha. They try to do it when they're breathing. So a little bit of confusion exists, and I understand why, it's fair. But hopefully this explanation can clear it up. As a start, consider the region of Uddiyana as your abdominal region, more or less from your pubic symphysis area, the pubic bone as we often call it, up to this edge of the ribs, what we call a little arrow points down. We call it the xiphoid process. Just take in this zone, okay? Now, when I do something like this, I exhale, I don't breathe anymore, I stop, might even hold the nose, and then that is called Uddiyana Bandha, but it is the setup for Nauli. So in a simple sense we say Uddiyana Bandha Kriya. And if you take a note, I am not breathing. So I would not do that if I was breathing. Quite simple. So how does Uddiyana fit in if I'm breathing? Right? So now, just like with my abdomen, I can divide it between the upper and the lower abdomen. So I could divide the zone of Uddiyana into how I need it to work when I'm breathing, or how it's going to work, as I just showed you, in that Kriya practice. Right? So now, when I'm breathing, I have a certain amount, breathing in terms of practices, that is, the asanas and definitely the pranayama breath practices. I have a certain amount of control in this region that's below the navel, even below my pants line, okay? Certain amount of control here, and as you can maybe see with my hands, it's kind of drawn back. It's not squeezed back, it's not forced back, it's drawn, and the tricky part is it's maintained. So people think squeeze, grab, but that's not it. You're on the wrong path there, really. Instead, draw it back, and can you maintain that? And now, of course, the breath can happen on top of it. Now, even if I was doing asana, right? And before I go into the asana, I'm inhaled, my heart is up, and again I'm controlled here. Exhale, I go forward, whatever the position is. Again, inhale, I come up with the support here. I start the exhale, and as I often say myself, feel Uddiyana. So you're feeling the region, the operation, the secure hold of this lower abdominal or pelvic muscular support, which in a simple language I could say is Uddiyana, right? So Uddiyana Bandha Kriya is going to actually raise the diaphragm, pull the abdomen back, no breath. Uddiyana with your breath is actually part of the breath process, supporting it from the base. Then lastly, Uddiyana Bandha is used as a term, but it's primarily only in advanced pranayama, where at the end of a retention, before you start the exhale, but then through the exhale, you're asked to actively apply that zone of Uddiyana that I just told you, but it might move up a bit to just above the navel too. And that is recommended when you're at a certain level of practice, and obviously the teacher would advise it because it's quite forceful, quite strong. And you don't do that in your typical asana or breath practice, you see. So that's Uddiyana Bandha as an advanced technique. Uddiyana Bandha Kriya is the precursor to Nauli, and then Uddiyana as you practice, whether it's the asanas or the breath, is more or less the control of the pelvic or lower abdominal region.